You're exhausted and you don't even know why. Not physically tired, mentally, emotionally, spiritually drained. And here's what's wild. You're not exhausted from living your life. You're exhausted from running away from it. Right now, as you're watching this, part of you is probably already planning your next escape. Maybe it's scrolling after this video ends. Maybe it's that project you'll start tomorrow. Maybe it's the conversation you're avoiding. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Running becomes such a habit that you forget you're doing it. And there's a brutal truth buried in this pattern that most people never face. A truth that, once you see it, will either terrify you or set you free. Let's be honest about what running actually looks like in real life. It's not dramatic, it's not obvious. It's subtle, quiet, and it's everywhere. You run from difficult conversations by staying busy. You run from your potential by staying comfortable. You run from your emotions by staying distracted. You run from your dreams by staying realistic. And the crazy part? You've gotten so good at it that you've convinced yourself you're not running at all. Call it being practical, or taking care of business, or waiting for the right time. But your body knows, your mind knows, that restless feeling that follows you everywhere. That's not ambition. That's not motivation. That's the exhaustion of someone who's been running in place for so long they've forgotten what it feels like to actually stand still. Here's what running does to your nervous system. It keeps you in a constant state of low-level panic. Not enough to call it anxiety, but enough to make everything feel urgent and nothing feel important. You're always behind, always catching up, always preparing for the next thing instead of being present for this thing. But here's where it gets really uncomfortable. You're not just running from external things. You're running from yourself. From the version of you that might fail, from the version of you that might succeed, from the version of you that might actually have to take responsibility for the life you're living. Running feels safer than risking disappointment. Running feels easier than facing the possibility that maybe, just maybe, you're more capable than you've been pretending to be. And the mind loves this game because running gives you something to do without actually having to do anything that matters. You can stay busy without being productive. You can stay moving without making progress. You can stay distracted without ever having to face the silence long enough to hear what your life is actually trying to tell you. Think about it. When was the last time you sat somewhere without reaching for your phone? When was the last time you finished a meal without planning the next one? When was the last time you had a feeling without immediately trying to fix it, change it, or escape it? Most people can't even remember because running has become their default mode. And the wild part is, you think you're running towards something better, but you're actually running away from the only place where change can happen. Right here, right now, with who you are in this moment. But here's where it gets really uncomfortable. You're not just running from external things. You're running from yourself. From the version of you that might fail. From the version of you that might succeed. From the version of you that might actually have to take responsibility for the life you're living. Running feels safer than risking disappointment. Running feels easier than facing the possibility that maybe, just maybe, you're more capable than you've been pretending to be. And the mind loves this game because running gives you something to do without actually having to do anything that matters. You can stay busy without being productive. You can stay moving without making progress. You can stay distracted without ever having to face the silence long enough to hear what your life is actually trying to tell you. Think about it. When was the last time you sat somewhere without reaching for your phone? When was the last time you finished a meal without planning the next one? When was the last time you had a feeling without immediately trying to fix it, change it, or escape it? Most people can't even remember because running has become their default mode. And the wild part is, you think you're running towards something better, but you're actually running away from the only place where change can happen. Right here, right now, with who you are in this moment. Here's what nobody tells you about chronic running. It's costing you more than energy. It's costing you your life force, your creativity, your ability to connect deeply with anything or anyone. When you're always running, you never get to experience the full spectrum of human emotion. You skim the surface of joy because you're afraid it won't last. You avoid the depths of sadness because you're afraid you'll drown. You miss the richness of anger because you're afraid of its power. You bypass the wisdom of fear because you're afraid of feeling weak. But emotions aren't problems to be solved. They're information to be received. They're your internal GPS system trying to guide you toward what matters. And when you're constantly running, you're essentially driving with your eyes closed, wondering why you keep ending up in the same places. Running also costs you presence in your relationships. How can you truly see someone when you're always looking for the exit? How can you love deeply when you're afraid of being hurt? How can you trust when you're always preparing to leave? People can feel when you're not really there. They can sense when you're holding back, when you're ready to bolt, when you're more invested in your escape plan than in the moment you're sharing with them. Here's what's happening in your brain when you're constantly running. You're stuck in what neuroscientists call the threat detection mode. Your amygdala, that ancient alarm system in your brain, is constantly scanning for what's wrong. what's missing, what needs to be fixed or avoided. When you're in this mode, you literally cannot access the parts of your brain responsible for creativity, connection, and calm decision-making. You're operating from survival, not from wisdom. You're reacting to life instead of creating it. And here's the kicker. Your brain doesn't know the difference between running from a tiger and running from your own thoughts. The stress response is the same. The exhaustion is the same. The tunnel vision is the same. But unlike our ancestors who ran from actual physical threats, you're running from internal experiences that aren't actually dangerous. You're running from boredom, from uncertainty, from the possibility of feeling something uncomfortable for more than 5 minutes. This is why meditation feels so hard at first. This is why sitting still feels like torture. This is why silence feels heavy. You've trained your nervous system to equate stillness with danger, when actually, stillness is where your power lives. So what does it actually mean to stop running? It doesn't mean becoming passive. It doesn't mean giving up on your goals. It means learning to be present with what is, instead of constantly escaping to what might be. Stopping running means developing what I call brave stillness. It's the willingness to feel what you're feeling without immediately trying to fix it. It's the courage to sit with uncertainty without manufacturing false urgency. It's the strength to be bored without immediately reaching for stimulation. And here's what's beautiful about this shift. The moment you stop running from your life, you start actually living it. The moment you stop being afraid of your own experience, you start having experiences worth having. You start noticing things you've been too busy to see. You start feeling things you've been too scared to feel. You start thinking thoughts you've been too distracted to think. But most importantly, you start trusting yourself in a way you never have before. Because when you can sit with discomfort without running, when you can face uncertainty without panicking, when you can be with yourself without entertainment, that's when you realize you're stronger than you thought. Learning to stop running isn't about willpower. It's about building a new relationship with discomfort. It's about training your nervous system to see stillness as safety, not danger. Start small. Pick one moment each day where you consciously choose not to run. Maybe it's sitting with your coffee for 2 minutes without checking your phone. Maybe it's finishing one task completely before starting another. Maybe it's taking 3 deep breaths before reacting to something that triggers you. The goal isn't to become a Zen master overnight. The goal is to prove to yourself that you can handle being present with your own life, even when it's not perfect, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's boring. Because here's what happens when you stop running. You start arriving. You start showing up for your own life in a way that creates actual change instead of just creating noise. You stop being busy and start being productive. You stop being reactive and start being responsive. You stop being scattered and start being focused. When you finally stop running, something shifts at the cellular level. Your nervous system begins to remember what calm feels like. Your mind starts to trust that you can handle whatever comes up. Your body starts to relax in a way you didn't even know was possible, and people notice, not because you're trying to be different, but because you're finally being real. There's something magnetic about someone who isn't running from themselves. There's something powerful about someone who can be present with both the beautiful and the difficult without trying to escape either one. Your relationships change because you're no longer relating to people from a place of distraction or urgency. You're relating from presence, from choice, from clarity. Your work changes because you're no longer working from avoidance or compulsion. You're working from purpose, from intention, from a place of actually wanting to be there. Your decisions change because you're no longer deciding from fear or reaction. You're deciding from wisdom, from awareness, from a place of actually knowing what you want. But let's be real, stopping running is terrifying at first. Because when you stop running, you have to face whatever you've been running from. And for most people, that's a lot. You might have to face the fact that you've been avoiding your potential. You might have to face the relationships you've been neglecting. You might have to face the dreams you've been postponing. You might have to face the grief you've been numbing. This is why most people never stop running. It's easier to stay busy than to get honest. It's easier to stay distracted than to get present. It's easier to stay moving than to actually arrive somewhere. But here's what I've learned. The things you're running from aren't as scary as the running itself. The energy you spend avoiding your life is more exhausting than actually living it. The fear of feeling something difficult is worse than actually feeling it. And on the other side of that fear, that's where your life is waiting for you. Not the perfect life, not the easy life, but your actual life. The one you came here to live. So here's your invitation. Stop running. Not forever, not perfectly, but right now, in this moment. Stop planning your next escape and be here. Stop rehearsing your next performance and be real. Stop preparing for some future version of your life and live this one. Because your life isn't happening tomorrow. It's not happening when you finally get your act together. It's not happening when you finally figure it all out. It's happening right now, and you're missing it because you're too busy running towards some imaginary finish line. The beautiful truth is this. You don't have to earn the right to stop running. You don't have to be perfect first. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be willing to be here, with yourself, with your life, with whatever comes up. And when you do that, when you finally stop running and start arriving, that's when everything changes. Not because the world becomes different, but because you become present to the world that was always there. If this resonates with you, I've written more about building this kind of presence and inner strength in my ebook. You can find the link in the description if you're ready to go deeper. Comment arriving below if you're ready to stop running and start living. And if this kind of content helps you see your life differently, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember, your life is not a problem to be solved. It's an experience to be lived. Stop running from it and start showing up for it.